Should a married woman be talking to a married man for an hour or two or an hour a day or 3 or 4 times a week in the premise of, oh, they're helping me or counseling me?
They're my mentor.
Is that ever appropriate?
I think it's very dangerous.
Joni Lamb brought up an interesting question. Is it okay for a married woman to engage in long conversations with a married man just because she says he's helping or counseling her?
I think it's very dangerous. Absolutely. The emotional connection, unless this is a professional therapist and they are paid to give you this kind of support,
Right.
You're
kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself.
Dangerous. That is very dangerous.
If you've been following this scandal, you'd probably agree with me that this question is pretty hypocritical. Doug Weiss, a marriage counselor who at one point was counseling Marcus and Joni, ended up marrying Joni Lamb. Just think about the timing. Doug got divorced right after Marcus passed away. There was also a lot of secrecy around Doug and Joni's relationship. He kept his divorce under wraps while secretly dating Joni. Now, they're acting like they had no idea what was going on, but Jonathan has revealed that Joni and Doug were already talking before Doug even finalized his divorce. If Doug, a Christian counselor, ended up dating one of his clients, it raises a lot of questions about the situation, especially when they're pretending like they had no clue about the timing or the nature of their relationship.
Well,
When she went to Poppy's house, she said she wanted to.
Well, of course, I'm sure she was hoping that I would have some epiphany, but I was past that. The divorce was over, I was past that.
well, but also at that time, Joni Lamb was in the picture.
No, I was past it before. I was past it in August, a year and a half before I met you.
Right, no, but this new option appeared.
You see that?
Potentially.
I'm not that guy.
Well,
I'm not that guy. I wasn't looking for
I know, but you're already talking at that point.
The Lord told me not to hunt.
Right, I know, but you already.
She wasn't even like.
But you were already talking at that point.
What we know from several leaked audio recordings is that Joni was already involved while Doug was still in the process of getting a divorce. It's clear that Joni and Doug had a friendship that went back before the divorce, which makes it seem like Doug had already made up his mind that Joni would be the one he'd marry. For that reason, he chose to end his 36-year marriage with Lisa Weiss, despite her efforts to save it. Doug spent years writing marriage healing books, creating tapes, and hosting seminars. But when it came down to his own marriage, it seems he needed those books more than anyone else. If he was a marriage counselor, why couldn't he save his own marriage? Jonathan also revealed that Lisa was willing to give it one last chance and fight for her marriage, but Doug was already moving on, talking to Joni Lamb. Rebecca Lamb even said that the more Lisa tried to get Doug to stay, the more Joni seemed to desire him, almost lusting after him. And let's be honest, Doug, who was now dealing with a widowed millionaire in Joni Lamb, someone with fame, money, and everything he could want, wouldn't exactly say no. One thing that's really common with televangelists and Christian leaders on TV is that they always try to show the good side of themselves on camera, even though in real life, they might be doing the complete opposite.
And we were just friends for a while, and then it turned into more. I went to people that I trusted and said, hey, I know I'm in a position where people are watching. I want to use wisdom, and I'd like for you to come and help, us walk through this relationship. And so they all said, well, we need to meet him and talk to him and find out what his story. And so they did. And they all came back and said, we understand his situation. And we believe there is a biblical reason, and we're good with you starting the dating process, but just kind of slow it down. We met for that one weekend, and it was all good boundaries, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember, because he lives in Colorado, so I dropped him at the airport and went back home, and I got in the pool that night. It was like August, really hot here in Dallas. I was just laying in the pool in that quiet house alone.
Yeah.
And I just said, God, if this is you, I feel like it is. but I don't want to make a mistake. I think the first thing I said is, I'm your girl. I am your girl. I've always been your girl. And I need to know if this isn't you.
Yep.
I need you to show me now because I don't need to go any further.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was on a Sunday night. And so the next morning, I tell the story in the book. I came in and doing the hair and makeup, getting ready for the live show. And my security guy comes in, Shannon Kelly, and he's never done this before. And he comes over and he says, ma'am, I had a dream about you last night. And I said, okay, tell me the dream. We have spiritual dreams. We hear them all the time, you know, no big deal. He said, well, it's private. I said, okay. And so I get up out of the chair, go into the green room. I said, tell me the dream. He said, well, in the dream, I'm walking in front of you, but you have someone beside you. And I can tell it's a man, but his face was blurred. I couldn't see his face, but y'all were laughing and you were holding hands. I knew you were together. He said, I think God's bringing a man into your life. Now, he knows, nobody knows anything about anything.
And this is the security guard.
This is security, the head of security.
Not the prophetic voice that you're about to interview.
Which brought more legitimacy to it.
Exactly.
And
Because he ain't getting nothing.
No, and so he goes, I said, so you didn't see his face? He said, no, I didn't see his face. He said, but I heard his laugh. Well, the man that I was with has a very unusual laugh, and it became kind of like a joke at Daystar because it was a laugh that would continue, very deep laugh.
Yeah.
And you would think, is he ever going to stop laughing? It just kept going on and on. And so he says,
It's one of those laughs.
he said, when he said that, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And so I said, so you recognize his laugh? He said, yeah. And I said, well, who was it? And he said, it was Dr. Doug Weiss.
Wow.
And I almost fainted. You know, I have the little cape on and almost fainted, but I didn't give it away.
Yeah. You were like,
I was just like, interesting. And
Thanks a lot,
but
guy.
inside I'm going, oh my God.
One thing about them is that they always find a way to say everything they do is what God told them to do. Joni makes it seem like God brought Doug Weiss to her, but ask yourself, would God really cause another woman pain, take her husband after over 30 years of marriage, and then send him to you? God isn't about confusion. This is what they wanted, and they got it. Just look at all the secrecy surrounding their relationship. Is that really God's plan? If you listen to the many leaked audios, you'll come to the conclusion that this wasn't something God orchestrated.
Obviously, you got engaged on New Year's Eve, but the program doesn't go out to where you explain the marriage with Jimmy until March 10th, 69 days after. So that whole time, you're not able to do an Instagram post or like publicly, you know, you should be the happiest you are in your life, you know, one of the happiest moments, but you're not able to share it because, again, you have to worry about the narrative because Jimmy's got to come on and explain it because he's a divorced man. And
what's your point?
Well, my point is like that you have to hide and kind of craft. It's not in the light, you know. Instead of
That's why so many people are skeptical. Is that what you're saying?
That you're trying to protect.
Yeah, I wasn't hiding anything. I was just waiting for the right timing when Jimmy would be there, when he would be there, when we could do the show. When we did it tastefully, and I mean, I've gotten it.
But it was.
I mean, so many incredibly positive comments. But the thing that, like,
but there were so many negative comments that you took it down.
There weren't that many negative. It was probably 85% positive, 15. And yes, I did take out the heresical comments.
But you took down the whole video.
Oh, I took down the video.
Why?
Because I felt like it was. It had served its purpose, and everyone had seen it.
But that should be one of the most watched programs. Anyone should be able to know who this man is.
This is what we did, is if people call and ask for that program, we send them the link, we tell them.
But you're hiding it.
I'm not hiding it. I did that.
Well, why take it down?
I did that because...
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Because what?
Wisdom.
If this was really something God was involved in, then why all the secrecy and dishonesty? Joni couldn't even announce that Doug proposed to her. She had to wait months before bringing in Jimmy Evans to explain the whole thing to people. Who does that? The video she posted was flooded with comments from people who saw right through the lies, and she couldn't handle it, so she took it down. Now she's claiming to send links to people who want to see the video. How ridiculous is that? Jonathan is right. If you're proud of it, why hide it? A video like that should be something that gets shared with joy, one of the happiest moments in a couple's life. Yet, she couldn't even explain why she took it down until Jimmy Evans fed her the words to say, all of this just shows that it was built on lies and deceit. Doug wanted fame and more money, and Joni wanted Doug, so they got together. Now they're stuck with the consequences of their actions. This scandal isn't going to die down anytime soon, and it'll keep exposing more about them, like her financial mismanagement, living in multiple mansions and wasting donors' money. It's only a matter of time before this empire of lies comes crashing down.